で、このウクライナ戦争の行方がどういうふうに終結していくのかということについて、もう全世界の人たちが非常に興味があると思うんですけれども、最近特徴的だったのが、もうご存知のように2月の17日だったと思うんですけれども、国務省の国務次官のビクトリア・ヌーランドがクリミア半島をウクライナが取り戻すために、もう攻撃を仕掛けるのは正当性があるというような発言をしました。で、それに対して2月19日、ロシアの国営放送がこれは宣戦布告なんじゃないかというふうに抗議をしたというのがアメリカのニュースにも流れていました。そして2月の21日、トランプ大統領が確かちょっと短い演説だったと思うんですけれども、ヌーランドがやっていることはもう戦争の挑発であると、オーモンガリングだというふうにも言ってるんですけれども、この流れについてウクライナ戦争の仕掛け人としてあろうことか、国務次官の国務省の役人であるヌーランドがいろいろ動いているということについてはどのようにお考えでしょうか。
Well, look, as a former chief investigator for Russiagate, I'm intimately familiar with Victoria Nuland and her role with the Hillary Clinton administration to propel the Russiagate fictional narrative. So I just don't put too much stock, if any, in what Victoria Nuland has to say about the Ukraine and the intelligence on the ground there. I think she has proven herself tragically to rise to the upper levels of the U.S. government and serve to politicize and weaponize a role that we need an apolitical figure conducting diplomatic negotiations at the State Department, working with our allies. The best example I can give you is that Joe Biden, in the entire time he was over there was not one diplomatic meeting set to end the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. There was every meeting set to increase and expand and continue that conflict there. And that's what the Victoria Nulands of the world want, because for some reason the media in this country thinks it's cool, for lack of a better word, for the United States of America to be assisting the Ukrainians. And I'm not saying they don't need help, but I'm just saying there's too much work here in America when it comes to our border, when it comes to drugs, when it comes to healthcare and education, and our veterans and our law enforcement that I prioritize, and I believe Donald Trump prioritizes over the efforts in the Ukraine.
ありがとうございます。これはもう世界のみんなが気にしていることなんですけれども、このウクライナ戦争はどんな形で終結するのか、あるいは収束せずにこれがそれこそ戦争の挑発によって第3次世界大戦の引き金になったりしないかどうか、こんな心配もみんなしてるんですけれども、ウクライナ戦争の行方についてどうお考えかお聞かせください。
I think America is going to have to make a decision very soon on whether or not it wants to commit our service members on the ground in the Ukraine. And the current administration, under the leadership of Joe Biden, that will be their decision. And that will be a decision they need to make before 2024. And Donald Trump's decision is clear. There needs to be a diplomatic resolution to the conflicts in the Ukraine immediately. And the problem is this current commander-in-chief doesn't have the ability to set a global stage of meetings and engagements to succeed there, where Donald Trump could have and would have, which is why he put out the statement saying he could end the conflict, because these folks would take his meeting and at least sit down and negotiate. And when we have a commander-in-chief that isn't willing or unable to do it in Joe Biden, then, as I've said for a little while now, I think conventional American forces will be on the ground in the Ukraine, and that will play a very large role in the upcoming decision for every American to make at the polls in 24.
つまりこの戦争は長期化する危険があるということですね。トランプが復帰しない限り。
Unfortunately, yes. I do believe President Trump is the only one that can prevent the conflict from going any further and prevent American commitment to it. The direction this Congress's actions and this President Biden's actions have taken are very indicative of how we got embedded into Afghanistan for 2 decades, and I see that same thing playing out unless there's a dynamic change both at Congress and the White House.
わかりました。ありがとうございます。じゃあ3つ目の質問です。これも世界の人がもやもやしているコロナウイルスの問題についてです。トランプ大統領は当初2020年これがバーッと世界に広がった時にチャイナウイルスとかあるいはもうウーハンウイルスとか言ってましたけれども、バイデン政権になってからそれをピタッと言わせないようになりました。 ただ最近ジェームズ・オキーフなんかが頑張っていろんな真実が明らかになり、そしてついにアメリカでもエネルギー省とか FBI とかがチャイナバイラスだというふうに言い始めてますけれど、この流れがどうして今変化してきているのか、真相はどこにあるのか、これを教えていただきたいと思います。
Well, the information hasn't changed. When COVID broke on the world stage, I was the deputy director of national intelligence in the Trump administration, in charge of our intelligence communities under the leadership of Rick Grinnell. And we briefed the president on the intelligence we had at the time, and the very next day or days, he banned all travel to and from China. And of course, he was labeled a racist for doing so. But we acted on intelligence. We didn't disclose that intelligence. We didn't leak it. We could have, because the media cycle was attacking him for his actions. But now we know it's not as if there's new information all of a sudden that was uncovered from 3 years ago. It's that they are finally being caught. They, the FBI, the intelligence community, are finally being caught and put to task to put out the information that they know to be true. Because the documents that this Congress will hopefully subpoena will show the American people in the world that themselves. So it's not that intelligence and information is changing or evolving. It's always been what the intelligence was. It was the willing of the Trump administration to put it out for the American people in the world to have the truth versus the media to distort it and lie. And now you see their lies catching up with Chris Wray's latest statement at the FBI saying the virus came from Wuhan.
わかりました。ありがとうございます。もう時間もないので最後の質問です。今あなたはトランプ大統領が起こしたトゥルースソーシャルSNS の取締役務めていらっしゃいます。ですのでその立場で次の大統領選ですね、またトランプ大統領にいろんな妨害が来るかと思うんですけれども、トランプ大統領の勝利に向けてどんな手を打ちながら勝利に向かっていくのか、次の大統領選の予測も含めてぜひあなたの意気込みを聞かせてください。
I think in Truth Social, you see a true censorship-free platform to engage. And it's not just for conservatives. Gavin Newsom is on Truth Social. I invite AOC on Truth Social every day. I want everyone on Truth Social. So does President Trump. So does Devin Nunes, the CEO, and the rest of the board. And what we see is an engagement that is free of bots, which is what has been exposed at Twitter along with so many other things since Elon Musk took over, free of government interference at Truth Social, free of FBI contracts and money to engage and interfere with the elections at Truth Social. And those are critical for a free speech platform. And Donald Trump has done a brilliant job putting out policy videos every week for the world to see on the border, on education, on the Chinese currency, on the CCP, on Iran, and everything else. And I think he's going to continue to do that. And I think what you'll see tomorrow night here at CPAC when he takes the stage is, in only his fashion and his ability to do so, Donald Trump will stitch all of that together and show the world the policies that he will continue to put out on Truth Social and what his campaign is going to look like, and ultimately what his presidency in 2024 will look like. So I think Truth Social has been and is going to play an increasing role in the next election cycle since it's an actual free speech platform.
日本でもぜひトゥルースの参加者が増えるように、シッパクジャパンなんかうまく使っていただいて、どんどんユーザーを増やしていっていただきたいと思います。
Yes, I'm all in. Love to see Truth Social more utilized in Japan.
ありがとうございます。本当貴重な時間ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. It's an honor. Thank you.